I feel like Sun and Moon were the most anticipated Pokemon games of all time. The last Pokemon game released before that was Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which was a remake of an older game, and it got stale pretty quickly for a lot of people. And then a year before that we got X and Y. I feel like X and Y was a big push for Pokemon as it was the first 3DS Pokemon game, and I've noticed a lot of people that got back into Pokemon with X and Y. X and Y was also when we saw a massive increase in Pokemon on YouTube, which is another reason why I think Sun and Moon was so anticipated. Prior to its release, there were countless Sun and Moon leak videos, theory videos, because of all of the hype and excitement surrounded by the games. And unfortunately, it seems like Sun and Moon got stale rather quickly for a lot of people just like Oras. And in this video, we'll be discussing how Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon can fix the issues that Sun and Moon had and be better games than Sun and Moon. Now, originally I planned on making this video about how Sun and Moon were the worst Pokemon games, but since Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon were announced a few days after I made this script, I figured I'd change it a bit and talk about how Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon can improve on Sun and Moon. Now, keep in mind this is just based on my opinion and other people's thoughts that I've seen on Twitter and stuff about the games, and I do plan on making videos like this with other Pokemon games like Diamond and Pearl or Gold and Silver as well, and maybe even a video about all the good things about Sun and Moon and why they are so great, if there's any interest in that. If you guys want to see something like that and you want to support the channel, make sure you subscribe and leave a like. So I feel like the biggest issue that I had with Sun and Moon, and it seems like a lot of people also had this issue, was the sheer amount of cutscenes in this game. Now, to be fair, this has been a growing problem in Pokemon with every generation getting more and more cutscenes, but in Sun and Moon, I feel like it was over the top. Every 5 minutes you were stopped for a cutscene. Now, don't get me wrong, the overall story of Sun and Moon was pretty interesting, but I just wanted to play the game and explore. Having to stop all the time broke the game up, and a lot of the cutscenes were just pointless. Maybe in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon they can either cut out some of the cutscenes, or maybe make it so you can press a button to skip these cutscenes, because I feel like it was a really big detriment to the game. Now this next point goes off the last one a bit, and it's something I've seen a few people tweet about as well since the game first came out, and with all the cutscenes, they pretty much tell you exactly what you need to do and how to do it, and it made things very simple. Since Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon will most likely be similar to base Sun and Moon, kind of like how Black and White 2 were to Black and White 1, I hope to see less hand-holding since this is essentially a sequel, and it should be assumed that people who played the sequel played the original game. One of my favorite things about the older Pokemon games is that it's all exploration pretty much, since a lot of the times you had to find things on your own and you weren't told exactly where to go and how to do it, and the game was based more on becoming a strong trainer rather than focused on the story. There is also the issue of the EXP share, which has been an issue since X and Y, the EXP share making the game a little bit too easy, and it would be nice to see that thing toned down a bit. Sun and Moon was also a pretty linear game. I've noticed a lot of the routes were just really thin routes with one path to go, with pretty little exploration. Unlike the open land or water you see in older games like Gold and Silver or Ruby and Sapphire. A lot of the times there were only one place to go with very little exploration, and you really couldn't do what you wanted. After beating the game, I even noticed there was quite a few grayed out areas on the map, and I wish they made it more of a point to go to these areas and travel around. In Black and White 2, they did add a few new towns and a few new routes, so maybe Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon will do the same thing as Black and White 2 and add some more stuff to the map. I also personally wasn't a big fan of how the map was divided into the 4 separate islands. I feel like it would have been better to just have one map with all of them on it, but that's just a personal thing. I know a lot of people like the whole separation of the islands thing. Now this next point really isn't a fault for Sun and Moon, but it seems that most of the first Pokemon games in this series, and that is a lack of legendaries from previous generations. X and Y did have a similar issue, and I think we can all agree that one of the best things about Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire and Black and White 2 were the wide variety of legendary Pokemon. Hopefully they add legendaries from previous generations in Ultra Sun and Moon, since it seems like this is more common with the remake games. This will have a big impact on VGC of course because of all the new Pokemon, but I feel like this would really help out the shiny hunting community, since right now a lot of people choose to shiny hunt on Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire or on X and Y due to the methods of shiny hunting in those games, and the vast amount of legendaries there are to soft reset for in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. This will also increase the lifespan of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon a bit, since Sun and Moon shiny hunters switch back to the older games rather quickly. Sun and Moon also had the least amount of new Pokemon compared to any generation, and on top of that, there were no new Mega Pokemon. Now, this can be a good or bad thing depending on who you are, but personally, I don't think adding less and less new Pokemon each generation is a bad thing, since since we don't want to see thousands and thousands of Pokemon, but at the same time, I would have liked to see new Mega Pokemon and maybe even new evolutions onto older Pokemon. Now, I am a huge fan of Mega Pokemon, and in my opinion, they make up some of the coolest designed Pokemon, so it would have been nice to see more. And as much as I would want it, I really don't think Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon will have any new Megas. We will definitely be getting new forms of Solgaleo and Lunala, which is cool and was revealed in the trailer, and maybe we can get some other Pokemon forms like new Alolan forms or something like that to make up for the lack of Megas in this generation. Now, one of the biggest changes in Sun and Moon compared to the older Pokemon games were the lack of gyms in the Alola region. Sun and Moon really changed things up and replaced gyms with kahunas, which was a really cool idea and all, and Z Crystals essentially acted as the pseudo gym badges. But at the very least, I would like to see them have some real gym badges as opposed to just getting the Z Crystals, since you can get Z Crystals with other methods, but it was impossible to get gym badges without beating a gym. I do have to admit that I did like some of the puzzles in the trials, and the totem fights were a lot of fun, especially the wishy-washy one, but I would have liked to have seen actual gym leaders with some trials as mini bosses, or if the trials were the gym puzzle before the game, kind of like how they were in older games before you face the final gym leader. I hope Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon have gym leaders, or at least improve on the trials and the totem battles. And these are some things that I hope Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon will improve upon from the base versions of Sun and Moon. Now, keep in mind, this is just pretty much my opinion, and although Sun and Moon were probably my least favorite Pokemon games, I do still enjoy them, and Pokemon as a whole is one of my favorite franchises consisting of one of my favorite games. If you guys have anything you want to see improved upon in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, make sure you leave a comment as well as a like and subscribe if you are new. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day. I will see you guys next time, and bye-bye.